Hello, I'm Sue Rose Minahan, and it's Top Cosmos Chat, January 25th, 2021. And Kate Hudson is the daughter of Goldie Hawn. She's an actress known recently in the movie Almost Famous. And she is famous. She has her own regard. And she's in the news because she has 3 children by 3 different fathers, and involved with each one of them, and a spokesperson, you might say, for some of the interest in the changing elements of how we see parenting, how we see families, how we see people. Ideas are shifting, of course, and for good reason. In many ways, when society has enormous change, we interact and shift. And really, it's quite evident of this grand mutation of the social connection between Jupiter and Saturn that every 20 years meet at exactly the same degree. However, and it's been on the even years, like it was 2020, and it was 2000, and it was 1980, and for long years. But this last time was known as not only the Great Conjunction, but the Grand Mutation, because, as I've been saying, they shift to an air, to an entirely different element from earth to air. And it's in Aquarius, which is the sign of equality, of community, of brotherhood, of let's elevate conditions for the multitude of the group of the like-minded people. So, and it's an intellectual sign, it's an air sign. Well, and I mention this, here is, let's see, there is that, and we'll find this out. So her particular chart, now this we don't know, we only know it's April 19th, 1979, and this is at midnight in Los Angeles. But interestingly, if you look at the moon, it's 29 degrees, 58 minutes, meaning that if we were to animate this just by hours, in the next hour at 1 o'clock, oh, that's in PM, isn't it? Darn. Okay, well, there it goes. It would be up until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, her moon would be in Aquarius. So it's hard to know if this child was born during the morning hours or the afternoon hours. The moon makes significant difference, particularly because we're talking about children, and she would be the mother. A moon in Aquarius is going to have more of that sense of equality, since she spoke about the fact that she raises children to be their own person, not necessarily as the gender consciousness of has to be a female because give them the clothes for dolls and teach them to cook. It was more, not that she was trying to steer it one way or the other, but just the opposite. Let the child evolve and show what the child wanted to be and encourage that in any framework. Very open-minded. So where is that? How do we see that? Well, but when you don't know the time, there's various ways that really elevated rectification happens, but this is not for that purpose exactly, is to look at the chart. Now we know if we were to go back at 1 a.m. here, which is at the very beginning, she is an Aries and she has her Mercury and Mars in Aries. There's a lot of significant forward initiation with this person. I mean, she is an actress. It took a lot of personal avenue to go in that direction. Now, if the moon is in Capricorn, that takes a lot of dedication. She has strong dedication. That's one way to look at all that power. Now, the moon can also indicate the mother, her mother. Her mother is Goldie Hawn, a famous person, very famous. She's a actress. She's a producer. She's lived a life that's been very much centered as one of the very well-known actresses in her era and onward. So a Capricorn mother could be one of a role model in society. That would be very true. Now, we don't know the house, and that's another one. Regardless, Kate's Jupiter at the very end of Cancer, and it's very likely in Cancer for that entire day. It moves more slowly. It takes a whole year to get through a sign. And being in Cancer, it's very much the mother figure. And so it makes great sense that regardless, Kate has a lot of this energy that she would be very concerned with her children and looking at how to protect them. But that wouldn't be all of it. Now, her Venus is in Pisces. Venus is your sense of values. And in Pisces, that's where there are not the boundaries, because Pisces is involved with, well, it has co-rulers. It has Jupiter, which would be in Cancer, and Neptune, which would be in Sag, which would go back to Neptune. So there's really a triad here of energy for dispositors. And in Neptune, there are not any boundaries because it is the energies beyond our control. The sun, the moon, nature itself. And also, this connotes much with film. So having her Venus in Pisces indicates possibility of film, possibility of music, film, because we know that she is a film actress, so it's very indicative of it. And the fact that here her Neptune is in Sag gives greatly that expansion of her philosophy and her ideas. So, you know, even at this time, which is 1 a.m, if that's the case, in the 11th house, being very independent minded, thinking equality, there is that thought. We see that there's a lot of indications, even in the nodal system. She has her south node in Pisces. So she comes into this world with a very, well, here you can see the mother. Again, the mother may have been spiritually minded. The mother could have been busy and somewhat neglecting in a sense, or just looking at her life as being involved with a film. Her mother was Goldie Hawn. So all of this is indicative without even knowing what the moon necessarily is. However, going to the North Node, she works a great deal. You know, you have to be an actress, you have to work. So let's see, if we were to continue to animate this would be 2 o'clock in the morning. It's still in Capricorn, the moon, and at 3 o'clock still. It isn't until later on. Here she would have a Pisces rising, and that means her value system, her Mercury would be right in the first house, and she would be thinking her south node, very much oriented as far as speaking her values and speaking those thoughts. And the voice, you know, but the voice really goes in many ways to Jupiter. And where was Jupiter? Well, let's go on at the moment. Let's go on. Let's see if she had this Pisces rising and her sun, here it's in the second house, and it's still in Aries. She's going to be in Aries. Here the moon is in the 10th house in, let's see, what is 5 in the morning, and it's in Capricorn still. And it would be very much a role model of discipline and being in the eye of the public, you know, in a caring type of a way. And I don't know if that's quite right. You know, Maurice Fernandez, who I took many classes from, says that the 12th house is really indicative of fame. Now, she is a famous person. So if that was the case, it's hard to know exactly. Her rising could have been in here in Aries, as an Aries child, which would go very much along, indicative of her sun in Aries and the sun in the first house. That really shows who she is. It's a light in everybody's eyes, but it's common. It's that collective. And when a person has a collective energy, it resounds to many people. Well, it's interesting that she has such an eclectic family with multiple fathers and building on such an energetically open manner. And astrology can share some. There's many questions when you don't know exactly the timing, but you can still look at the energies of the planets. So in this case, we were mostly focused on just the fact that she is very acceptive of her children. And she already has indications of that just with her Venus in Pisces and her Jupiter in Sagittarius. No, her Jupiter here in Cancer. That's right. And here it's in the 4th house. There, that could be it. Maybe she was a morning child. Although she is very, well, I better stop. We'll talk again. This is Talk Cosmos. Please comment, subscribe. I love you lots. And thank you. Good night.